Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. My name is Scott Josephson, and I'm pleased to welcome you to my presentation, Leveraging Prompt Engineering and Retrieval-Augmented Generation with Large Language Models for AI-Driven Music Source Separation. I'd like to thank the American Council on Science and Education and the AirRes 2025 conference organizers for allowing me to speak, as well as all of you for attending. I am a PhD candidate at Capital Technology University, working alongside my advisor, Dr. Atif Farid Mohammed. Today, I'll share our latest research on how large language models, or LLMs, can be harnessed to perform music source separation. This is a fascinating development as it bridges cutting-edge AI techniques with important needs in music production and audio engineering. As many of you know, the field of music technology has evolved dramatically over the past decade. AI-driven methods are now central to how we produce, analyze, and even experience music. One of the enduring challenges has been music source separation, isolating individual components like vocals or instruments from a composite audio track. Traditional approaches have relied on intensive retraining and specialized signal processing pipelines, which can be inflexible and resource intensive. As it says in our overview, we will explore integration of LLMs into music source separation, combine prompt engineering and retrieval-augmented generation, address limitations of conventional resource-intensive methods, and offer potential benefits for music production, restoration, and analysis. In our work, we propose a new framework that applies prompt engineering and retrieval-augmented generation to guide an LLM such as GPT-4, enabling it to separate musical elements without retraining the model. This approach could radically streamline workflows, reduce costs, and open new creative possibilities. Let's briefly look at the background that led us here. First, with AI's growing role in music. AI has already become essential in modern music production. Intelligent algorithms can generate new compositions, augment soundscapes, and even separate individual tracks from an overall mix. However, many conventional music source separation methods rely on specialized machine learning models. Adapting these models to new genres or different recording environments often requires extensive retraining on large data sets. Limitations of traditional methods. Conventional approaches can be powerful, but they're often inflexible. If you want to separate a jazz track, you retrain your model on jazz data. If you want to separate a rock track, the same process repeats. This results in significant computational costs and can stall creativity or commercial applications. The emerging potential of large language models. LLMs like GPT-4 are extremely proficient at text-based tasks. Their underlying capabilities can be extended with the right techniques. Methods like prompt engineering, where we carefully design the input queries to shape the model's responses, and RAG, where we feed external data to the model in real time, can allow LLMs to tackle tasks well outside simple text generation. So what's the central issue our research aims to resolve? We found that music source separation techniques remain inefficient and lacking adaptability, especially in complex or diverse musical contexts. They often require large domain-specific data sets and repeated retraining. This is time-consuming, computationally expensive, and may underperform if the audio environment shifts. For example, different instrumentation or mixing styles. Our research therefore explores whether we can sidestep or significantly reduce these burdens by leveraging the unique strengths of an LLM, particularly when it's equipped with external information and guided through careful crafted prompts. Here's our main goal and the specific objectives. We aim to develop and evaluate a framework that uses prompt engineering and retrieval-augmented generation to enable LLMs like GPT-4 to perform music source separation without retraining the underlying model. Our objectives are to design and refine prompts that guide the LLM to isolate audio sources from a mixed track, use retrieval-augmented generation to integrate external musical data like sheet music, lyrics, or partial stems so the LLM can better understand what it's separating, evaluate performance in terms of separation fidelity and processing efficiency, gather feedback from audio professionals on usability, practicality, and real-world relevance. Let's dive into the framework that underpins this study. Prompt engineering. This involves systematically designing the model's input queries by specifying context, constraints, and desired outputs. We can steer the LLM toward tasks beyond text, like analyzing the structure of a musical piece. For source separation, a prompt might say, "Here is a compressed representation of an audio track along with metadata about the instruments involved. Identify the isolated drum track." Retrieval-augmented generation extends this by allowing the model to pull relevant external data at inference time. For instance, if the track is a cover of a well-known song, we can feed the LLM the original arrangement or partial stems that are publicly available, guiding it to identify patterns, chords, or even specific lyrical segments that belong to certain instruments or vocals. Critically, none of this requires retraining the LLM from scratch. We simply give it the extra knowledge through dynamic retrieval. Audio signal processing. We still lean on proven signal processing methods to handle waveforms and features. The LLM by itself isn't operating on raw waveforms in the usual sense. It uses symbolic or structured representations of the audio that we embed or compress. Traditional digital signal processing ensures we can effectively incorporate those representations into the text-based reasoning environment of the LLM. And when combined, these elements, prompt engineering, retrieval-augmented generation, and digital signal processing, allow an LLM to tackle source separation tasks flexibly. We hypothesize that it can adapt to new styles or instrumentation simply by drawing on new external references rather than rebuilding an entire model from the ground up. We derive 4 research questions and 2 hypotheses from this framework. So with our research questions, they are, how can prompt engineering guide LLMs to perform music source separation without retraining? What role does retrieval-augmented generation play in enhancing the LLM's ability to process relevant musical data? How does our LLM-based approach compare to traditional source separation regarding accuracy and efficiency? And how do audio professionals perceive the practicality and usability of such a system? Our formulated hypotheses, we have 2 of them. The first one is in the area of performance. And our null hypothesis will be no statistically significant difference in performance between the LLM-based approach and conventional methods. And our alternative will be the LLM-based approach significantly outperforms traditional methods in accuracy and efficiency. Our second hypothesis is in the area of professional perception. Our null is no difference in how audio professionals perceive the new approach versus the existing methods. And our alternative, audio professionals find the LLM-based approach more practical and user-friendly. Now let's turn to how we can how we will conduct our study, which follows an experimental mixed method design. For the study design, we will combine quantitative experiments measuring separation fidelity and CPU-GPU usage with qualitative surveys of audio professionals to obtain both numerical performance metrics and real-world perceptions. Prompt design and refinement. We will create a series of systematic prompts specifying the type of instrument to isolate, the style or genre details, any external references, for example, partial instrument tracks, lyrics, chord progressions. From there, we will refine these prompts by analyzing how the LLM responds and adjusting the wording or structure to optimize future separation outcomes. Retrieval-Augmented generation. As part of this research, we plan to integrate external data at inference time. For instance, if an audio file's metadata indicates saxophone and piano, the system would pull relevant information, such as a small snippet of the original sax stem or a known MIDI pattern, and feed it to GPT-4. GPT-4 would then be guided to align the requested instrument track in the mixture with external reference, effectively separating it. Data and instrumentation. Our planned data set will include diverse musical genres, pop, classical, jazz, electronic, each with known separate stems for future ground truth comparisons. We intend to use standard metrics like signal to distortion ratio and signal to interference ratio to evaluate separation fidelity. With our analysis, quantitatively, we will compare the model's performance against conventional separation methods across various test tracks, focusing on separation accuracy and computational speed. With qualitative analysis, we will then present the test results to audio professionals asking for feedback on usability, practicality, and perceived audio quality. We will thematically analyze this feedback to understand how effectively our approach might fit into real-world workflows. Why does this matter to the broader community? With academic contributions, it expands the known capacities of LLMs beyond text. With the right scaffolding, we will show that a model like GPT-4 can operate on tasks in the audio domain, an intriguing step toward more generalizable AI. This also paves the way for more cross-disciplinary work, bridging music theory, AI, and signal processing. Practical benefits. For music producers and sound engineers, an LLM-based approach that doesn't require full retraining could cut costs and time. If you have a new style or scenario, feed the system the relevant references rather than starting from scratch. Additionally, it may encourage new forms of creativity. Artists quickly separate stems from even novel or obscure mixes and manipulate them in real time. In industry and education, there's potentially transformative for film, gaming, or telecoms, where custom audio tasks arise frequently. In the academic context, it could become part of music technology curricula, showing how advanced AI can complement traditional digital signal processing knowledge. Let me outline our anticipated findings and next steps. We plan to introduce a novel framework that merges prompt engineering, retrieval-augmented generation, and audio signal processing to guide an LLM in separating music sources without retraining the model itself. We hypothesize that this approach will achieve accuracy and efficiency on par with or surpassing existing separation methods, especially when external references are available. We intend to gather feedback from audio professionals to assess the system's flexibility and user-friendliness. In doing so, we will explore potential improvements such as standardized workflows or plug-in-based interfaces that align with established production environments. Looking ahead, our planned efforts include refining the prompt design to enhance separation results, exploring more robust embedding strategies for introducing audio data into the large language model, conducting large-scale user studies incorporating more professionals across diverse musical genres to validate real-world applicability. And our future directions include methodological refinements, investigate improved ways of compressing or embedding audio so that the LLM has a clearer textual representation, possibly employing hybrid approaches where certain tasks are offloaded to specialized DSP while the LLM orchestrates those tasks at a higher level. Additional applications. We see potential in adjacent fields, film sound design, gaming soundscapes, and even teleconferencing solutions that isolate background noise or specific speakers. Imagine using an LLM to quickly transcribe or isolate a single voice in a noisy environment. And we believe there'll be interdisciplinary impact. We hope that our approach sparks more collaborations among AI researchers, music technologists, and content creators. Bridging text-based generative AI and audio tasks could yield new content creation, restoration, and analysis modes. Well, thank you all for your attention. I appreciate the opportunity to share this work with you. I'd be happy to take any questions you may have by connecting with me via email. Thank you all again. Take care.